From now on, we will learn about the guidelines on tank entry for tankers according to MSC 1 Circular 1 401. An enclosed space is a space with poor or no natural ventilation, which is not designed for continuous occupancy, where access is limited and which may contain a dangerous atmosphere. For example, enclosed spaces include but are not limited to cargo tanks, double bottoms, cargo pump rooms, chain lockers, ballast tanks, cofferdams, void spaces, duct keels, peak tanks, bunker tanks, freshwater tanks, machinery internals, and any other spaces that are normally kept closed. Pre-planning. Prior to entering a tank, all persons who are to be involved in the task should meet to define the purpose of entering the tank, identify the steps to be taken to achieve the purpose, develop a plan of action, and assign responsibilities. The meeting should address as under: scheduling of manpower. The master will be ultimately responsible for authorizing tank entry, and responsible officer, person undertaking the testing of the atmosphere, person who maintain a watch over those entering the tank, maintains communications. Tank rescue team should be assigned. Next, tank washing, gas freeing, testing of the tank atmosphere, identifying and minimizing physical hazards, listing equipment needed, safety, firefighting, communication, tools, escape and rescue, advising personnel who will enter the space of the hazards associated with the operation, maintaining safe conditions in the tanks. Reviewing emergency procedures for rescue and firefighting should be addressed in the meeting. Initial preparation. Tanks should be clearly marked to make it clear to all which are safe for entry and which must not be entered. Any tank where a crew are working should be clearly marked as such. Preparation of equipment. Equipment that must be used immediately on deck include rescue hoist equipment to enable an injured person to be removed from the tank, self-contained breathing equipment, oxygen meters, gas meters, toxic gas detectors. Equipment that must be readily available is resuscitator, first aid kit, dry chemical and foam fire extinguisher, and a stretcher. Fire these with spray nozzle. Next, equipment to be worn by workers is protective clothing, explosion-proof flashlight, intrinsically safe two-way portable radio telephone apparatus, safety helmets, safety shoes, rescue harness, personal gas detector. Testing the atmosphere in the tank. It should be tested at various levels from top to bottom. Testing of the tank should be carried out before any person enters the tank and at regular intervals thereafter until all work is completed. Testing the atmosphere should be carried out by calibrated equipment. All ventilation must be stopped prior to entering the atmosphere test and resumed prior to any person entering the tank. Criteria for tank entry. For entry purposes, steady readings of all the following should be obtained: 21% oxygen by volume, Not more than 1% of lower flammable limit. Not more than 50% of the occupational exposure limit of any toxic vapors and gases. If these conditions cannot be met, additional ventilation should be applied to the tank, and ray testing should be conducted after a suitable interval. The following is a reference image for oxygen and hazardous gas measuring points. Final preparation. The responsible person should ensure that all personnel involved understand the emergency procedures. Each person entering the tank is wearing the appropriate protective clothing and has the correct personal safety equipment. All personnel involved understand the task to be undertaken. The equipment needed is readily available. Tank entry permit. Tank entry permit should be filled in upon completion of preparations for tank entry. Entry permits may be made for multiple tank entries. However, tanks which are not immediately entered should be ray tested and a new permit issued. At no time should a permit be granted for entry into more than 6 tanks. The validity of an entry permit should not exceed 8 hours. Tank entry. The attendant should be in continuous attendance at the entrance to the tank. The responsible person should ensure that the atmosphere is continuously monitored and order the evacuation of the space if the safe limits are exceeded, or if there is any doubt about it at any stage of the operation. Ventilation must be provided during the entire period of the operation. Safety harnesses should be worn at all times when working in tanks. Rescue equipment should be rigged and ready for use throughout the operation, and persons assigned to the rescue party should be readily available. Access openings should be kept open and clear for emergency exit at all times. Leaving the tank. If the tank is vacated for any reason, such as for a meal break, ventilation should continue during the break, and the atmosphere of the tank should be ray tested. When finally leaving the tank, the responsible person should ensure that all persons in the work party are accounted for, and that all tools and equipment have been removed from the tank. Training on guidelines tank entry for tanker, as per MSC 1 Circular 1401 will be completed. Thank you for watching.